The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The NFL Scouting Combine is this week in Indianapolis, and all eyes are on the New York Jets with their 4 picks in the top 44. Jets draft guru Dom C will join me as we preview what you need to know. It's the Jake Asman Show, special Saturday show, and it starts right now.
I let the organization down, and I let the players down, and that burns me. It really does. This season's on me, and we're going to work our ass off to get this shit exactly where it needs to be.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Happy Saturday. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We hit over 44,000 subscribers earlier this week, so big thank you to the best community in sports for rocking with us day in and day out. Combine is upon us. A lot to talk about. A reminder, we are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook, and we say hello right now to one of the best draft analysts in the country. He happens to be a diehard Jet fan, and he covers the team and the draft for JetsXFactor.com. It's our guy, Dom C, who joins us now. Dom, I miss hanging out with you in Mobile, but here we go. Combine week is upon us. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, are you going to the Combine, by the way?
I will be there. As long as my flight from LaGuardia lets me out on Monday morning because it's supposed to snow, but I'm going to be there at some point this week.
Gotcha. Yeah. I wish I could go. I just have too many balls in the air to make it down this year, so it is what it is. But it's a great week. It's a lot of fun. I think for scouting purposes, I think the better week is probably Senior Bowl week or Shrine Bowl week, wherever you attend that, so on and so forth. But for media stuff, this is the other than Radio Row at the Super Bowl, this is probably the next best thing.
You get a ton of interesting nuggets, rumors. We'll hear from Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji for the first time since the season ended on Tuesday. Why don't we start there? Because I'm curious. What do you think is the most pressing thing Glenn or Muji will be asked about when they speak Tuesday together at 1 p.m.?
It better be Jake Asman asking Aaron Glenn, what do you do well, sir? That's what the only question that's going to matter. What one thing do you do well, Mr. Glenn?
Fire assistant coaches, apparently, would be the answer. I mean, honestly, it's the first time Glenn's going to speak since he had 10 of his 21 assistants turn over. There should be questions about that. And honestly, my big question that I'd want to ask Glenn and Muji, a year ago, you guys sat up here and touted your ability to hire great coaches. Glenn in particular, there's that sound of how he was most proud of how he went about hiring his coaching staff. Well, here we are a year later. You had a historic amount of change. What did you learn from a year ago to now that should give any Jet fan confidence you got the right people in place?
Yeah, and more so to even dovetail on that, like, do you remember when, and some people took it as kind of like a backhanded comment towards Robert Saleh when he said, what's the difference? Some of these guys, well, they're going to be coaching. It's coaching. They're going to be coached up, and they're going to, blah, blah, blah. I beg to argue that the majority of the guys that were on the team for Saleh's last year, that Saleh Ulbrich fiasco, and on the team this year, I beg to differ that not one of them improved or got better. You know what I mean? So that's a problem. Coaching, coaching is real. And then with Muji, you'd like to see what the direction is. There's been a lot of rumblings back and forth amongst Jets fans, like, what they feel like the avenue for building this team is going to be. Yes, we have tons of draft capital in the next 2 years, high draft capital nonetheless. But I think with 32 expiring contracts that they came off the books this year, like, you're gonna have to fill it. We have a lot of draft picks, but you're not gonna have to fill all those spots with draft picks So what's the plan for free agency? Are you going to be shopping in the dented can aisle again? You know what I mean? Are you going to be? Is it going to be 1 year band-aids, or are they going to spend some money? Are you going to see 3 and 4 year contracts? You know, is there anyone worth a 3 and 4 year contract? You know, all that stuff is it's go time for this regime, unfortunately.
They got to spend. They got to add talent. A year ago, they didn't want to sign anyone who was 30 or over besides Josh Reynolds to a deal under $3 million. And does that approach change this year? I think you're spot on with that. As far as the combine goes, and we're talking, of course, with Dom C. So if you have a draft question, write it in super chats. We'll cut the line. And I'll tell everyone after we did our weekly raffle series yesterday, at the end of the show today, special Saturday soiree, we're going to give away a Jets jersey of your choosing. Joe Namath, Joe Klecko, Curtis Martin, Wayne Corbett, Darrell Revis, Nick Mangold, or Keyshawn Johnson are the choices. Dom, as far as the combine, you study these players year-round. You're in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. You're following all the all-star events after the college football season.
Yep.
The combine to you, how important is it in your personal evaluation of these players?
Not necessarily all that important in regards to my personal eval. Like, I'm not going to change evals based on what happens in Mobile unless there's, you know, an extreme outlier. You know, like somebody completely falls off the ledge in terms of, you know, an athletic trait or something like that. More so, again, and we talked about this, I think, in Mobile, you and I and me and others, like, I'm basing my evaluations on what I'm watching in tape over the past 2 years of watching these guys. You know, stuff that happens in Mobile, stuff that happens in Combine might make me go back and watch, you know, rewatch some film or something like that. But I'm not gonna ultimately change my opinion or my evaluation on the guy based on what he does in shorts and or at Mobile where there's no contact. So there's stuff that does factor for sure. You know, like you know, some of the measurements and stuff like that I think are probably more important than, you know, how they're running a drill. You know, how they're running, you know, a drill in shorts or something like that, or how the quarterbacks are throwing, you know, with no pressure and all that stuff. So that's my opinion.
When you're looking at like a prospect, if it's let's say a smaller school guy, and he goes out there and has a great combine, does that matter? Like, does the combine matter more for certain players versus others? Like, what's a good example of some players in recent NFL drafts where the combine mattered in your eval?
Oh boy, good question, Jake. You hit me with one. Let me think. Yeah, no problem. Let me think back. You know, I think so. Here's an easy example. Okay, I was between grades a couple years ago, or like on the cusp with a couple guys, you know, that had eval grades that were right around one another. The year that A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy came out a couple years ago, and Xavier Worthy took the top off for the 40-yard dash. And probably, you know, when I have guys that are on that same tier, if I'm trying to rank them, you know, then how he performed the combine. Well, Worthy was, you know, head and shoulders faster than any of the other guys in that tier, so I'm going to put him first. You know, there's stuff that I look at for offensive linemen now. I know the Jets fans have not, you know, really been too focused in on the offensive linemen this year because, you know, we spent a lot of high capital on the tackles past couple of years in Fashanu and Membu and so on and so forth. But, you know, there are certain things that you look at for them. You know, the 10-yard split, I think, is really important. That's how quick they can get off the line. You know, for defensive linemen, I think that for me, it's not necessarily that 10-yard split might matter as well. Yes, how quick they can get off. But I like to see those defensive tackles. I want to see a high bench press. I want to see that upper body strength that they're able to keep. You know, that they're going to be able to extend their arms and control the game in the trenches like that. So there are certain factors that might, you know, sway a guy, you know, above another if they're kind of, you know, have an equivalent eval grade. You know, Worthy was probably the closest one that I could think that fits that bill over the past couple.
Dom C with us here. If you have a scouting question, combine question, prospects, write it in and we will get to it. Let me shout out our guy, Garrick, the Jet fan, he is in the raffle for one, as is our first 5 spot of our Saturday show. David Atkins in the house, gifting 5 for the community. Let's go.
Give us something, anything. Yeah. We're a squirrel trying to get a nut.
David just gave 5 of you a channel membership. Here are the listeners who got one. R. Lugbauer, Daniel Meza, Lizard Fish, Greg the Hammer, Charlie Rose, all receiving a channel membership. We're going to give away a Jet jersey at the end of the show. And I promise big prizes since it's Combine Week. Our grand prize on Raffle 62, first announced weekly prize that everyone who enters during any show this week is qualifying for, is a signed helmet by Broadway Joe Namath. Boom. Make sure you get your entries in all throughout the week today. And when we are live from the Combine starting on Monday in Indianapolis, Dom, in terms of the Jets' particular needs, a lot of talk about Ruben Bane. And I hear Ruben Bane, the short arms. Okay, so at the Combine, what drill is important for Ruben Bane to do well with, given his arm length? Because if it's close, let's say between Bane and Reese on the Jets board, like, do they favor Reese because he's got longer arms, right? So kind of break down how the Combine, potentially some of these drills could impact, the final decision, so to speak, on what the Jets do.
Well, obviously, for Bane, the arm length is the big question. And I got to tell you, I'm not starting, I've wavered back and forth with these top 3 edge rushers. But, if you ask me today, I would tell you that I think if the choice was mine, I might lean Ruben Bane as my pick at number 2 overall. Short arms be damned. You're looking at a guy like Bane. Now, let's talk about arm length to start here, Jake. And for those who really don't understand the whole concept about it, you have an offensive tackle who's trying to get into your chest, and you're trying to get into that offensive tackle's chest, or by him, whatever defensive move you want to be. When those guys have 34, 35-inch arms and you're at 31, 4 inches is like that. It's a big, it's a big difference. And you can't, if you're going to be successful and win as a pass rusher or be a dominant, stack and shed kind of defender that you need to be setting edges. I think you can't have offensive linemen get in your chest. That's how that's how you will lose. The thing with Ruben Bane, what people don't talk about, they talk about his short arms all the time. But what they don't talk about is that him and Akeem Mesidor, and shout out to, their defensive line coach at University of Miami, Jason Taylor. They have probably the most advanced, nuanced, and well-versed hand usage out of any defensive lineman, definitely in this class, that I've watched in the past couple. The timing of their swipes was right. The way they jab and they fake, their accuracy of their punches. So all that stuff that they do technically with their hands kind of for Bane counteracts the length thing. You don't see him getting beat a lot because of the length of his arms. But you talk about the defensive ends and use him as an example. He's a little bit bigger of a guy, short, stocky, 278 pounds at 6'2", 6'3", something like that. You want to see, that you want to see how he can bend and dip and, run the circle, if you will. A lot of that is going to be important. Now, you talk about Reese and Bane and you talk about Bailey. I don't know if, Bailey is definitely the fastest of them. I think Reese is probably the strongest, but Bane might be the best, of them all in terms of overall package, because he's, pretty stout and dominant setting the edge as a run defender. He's got power and, and like I said, his hand fighting is next level elite. So, he's got a lot of the moves. He's not, he's probably not going to be, the bendiest of guys, but, you put that fire and that twitch and that power that he can pack. I think he might be the best overall defensive end that the Jets could take. I know that's kind of a hot take because David Bailey is the coup de grace these days. He's the bee's knees. He's the one everyone wants. I think Bane might be better. So the question is, where's the fit, right? Where's the fit? So what are you looking at the combine to bring it all back? Is the measurements are going to be important, but what's not going to be talked about, or what you're not going to see, is how good he uses those hands to counteract the limitations he might have with the shorter arms. And he's also versatile. Bane's a guy that you could throw outside, and even if you want to reduce him down and rush him from the inside, think like Leo Williams. Think how good Leo Williams, Super Bowl winner, right? Think of a guy like that with even more pass rush skill. That's what I see Ruben Bane as.
Okay, so there's Bane. Mm-hmm. You hit on Bailey. But what about Arvell Reese? Because I'm looking at the Dom C big board here, the top 75. Your number one player is Caleb Downs, so we're going to get into him. Yes. Sonny Styles is number 2. Definitely want to ask you about him. Jeremiah Love is number 3. And then Arvell Reese is number 4. And I feel like the most popular player still being mocked at 2 to the Jets at this point is Arvell Reese. So break down Arvell Reese and your thoughts if he were to be the pick at 2.
So he is high. I do have him rated higher. I have him in my linebackers. He's my number 2 ranked linebacker. Obviously, he's more than a linebacker. He's the difference maker. He's kind of that rogue Leo kind of player. Break him down. I mean, there's a lot to love about what Arvell Reese does as a player. I think the one thing that people don't talk about enough is how just damn strong this kid is. He'll turn 21, I think, right before the draft or maybe right after the draft. I'm not exactly sure. But he packs a punch. He's 240 some odd pounds at 6'4", wears it well, just solid. He's physical. He's as strong as could be. Like I said, you watch him just take on pulling linemen, pulling guards, pulling tackles, and just stop them in their tracks, right? Probably the best run defender of the pure run defender of the 3. The problem with Arvell Reese is he hasn't done it enough from the edge. I think he's got 128 snaps where he's been productive in those limited snaps, right? Especially getting at the passer. I think 28 pressures, 8 sacks in 128 things. He is, to make him a pure edge rusher, there's a lot of projection about it. Now, do I think he can do it? I do. He reminds me a lot of what Abdul Carter was the year before Abdul Carter got moved full-time to the defensive end. He played the same role as Arvell Reese. I know a lot of people like to go towards the comp with Micah Parsons, which is fine. I think ultimately they're going to have a similar role, where they can be used all over the place. They can be used off ball. They can be used on the edge. They can be used as a blitzing linebacker. They can, line up and play and do that Euro step faking. I'm going to blitz the A gap and end up, twisting around and get involved in the stunt game up front. I think he can do all that stuff like Michael Parsons does. But he's much more of a sheer power player right now than he is finesse. Now, athletic as could be, I think for him, you're going to see, I think he's going to wow people on some of those athletic measurables at the combine when you're talking about the vertical jump, the broad jump, which really, that horizontal explosiveness really is a strong indicator of what you can do, like with your legs and your hips, how strong you are there. I think he's going to be one of those guys that bounds, throughout the, bounds right through 11, 12 feet, maybe not 12 feet, but the 3-cone drill, you're going to see how bendy he is and stuff like that. So this setup, the combine is set to really allow a guy like Arvell Reese, who doesn't have to do it in pads and doesn't have to do it in a real game situation, to shine. I'm not saying he's not deserved, but there's a very good possibility that, he tests through the roof on all the measurables that you want to see Arvell Reese test. And you're going to hear that switch from David Bailey to Arvell Reese amongst the Jets fans. Listen, I think how he weighs in and, on him and Bailey are going to be really important, right? Bailey's a little bit thin from the waist down. Like he's not thin as a guy, but to me, I don't know where you're putting a lot more mass on him, right? And I think, speed is such a factor in David Bailey's game that I don't know if, another 10 pounds of muscle would hinder that speed. So, I think David Bailey coming in at 240 and, is going to be something that people are going to start to be concerned about. And then you have, if Orville Reese comes in at 245, 250 and tests through the roof, I think he's going to, I think that's going to be something that opens a lot of people's eyes.
I think Reese is going to end up being their pick for some of the reasons you outlined.
Mm-hmm.
My concern with Reese, do the Jets have a real plan to be able to deploy him properly?
No, I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, the idea, like Reese might be the best non-quarterback in the draft class.
Like, he's got the most upside to me. He's only 20. He's still going to get bigger and stronger. I'd say
Absolutely.
add 10 to 15 pounds and be a pure edge. That's how I see him. But like, I like that Glenn hired Carl Dunbar as the D-line coach. That gives me some hope. But do you trust the Jets to take a guy who might be a superstar, but it's a projection number 2 when you might have a safer pick in Ruben Bane or David Bailey?
So I guess there's 2 ways to look at it. But before I get into that, you made a really good point. What's his name? The coach, Dunbar, is it?
Carl Dunbar. Yep.
Yeah. So look at the effect he had on guys like Alex Highsmith. TJ Watt talks through the roof about him. The other guy that they drafted, the other edge that they drafted, Nick Herbig. All these guys really, really developed under his tutelage, right? Now, what type of players are they? I'm not saying that this coach is just like a stand-up edge rusher, but has a pattern of success with those type of guys. So to me, Reese and Bailey really fit that bill. So it's easier to project if you know that Carl Dunbar is going to be there, monitor or kind of molding him and really preparing and developing him. Like, that's what you want to do. But is this whole staff going to be here next year? You're banking on one thing. A guy that needs reps and a projection pick, a guy who needs reps, a guy who needs to be developed on a coach, on a coaching staff that's already, kind of where the water's already warm around them. That's the thing that concerns me about Reese. And I think you kind of much more eloquently hit it on the head is, Reese might be the best talent, but he's going to need, I just don't know if this is the team or if this is the coaching staff or this is the head coach's defense that's going to be able to maximize that talent.
And that is the concerning aspect of all this. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Our guy Dom C is joining us. No donuts for Dom and I, though, because we're not in Mobile anymore, Dom, but I do miss all the donuts that you purchased for Dylan and I.
Gotta do something, right?
Shout out to Dan Gilmore, who is in the raffle for one. We're giving away a Jets jersey of your choosing at the end of the show. Get in on a Saturday. It is a Saturday show. Top prize in raffle 62 next week. I already announced the first one. It is a signed Broadway Joe Namath helmet. Always love when we can get a Namath prize in the raffle. Get your questions in. I'm going to get to those coming up. But, Dom, here's a question I have for you.
Shoot.
Caleb Downs at number 2. Your big board. He is your number 1 overall player.
He is my highest graded player in this class. Absolutely.
He's number 1, but he's a safety. So I throw it to you. Make the case if you think it's possible the Jets should draft Downs at 2, or tell me why they shouldn't draft Downs at 2. If you're Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn, you can get the best non-QB in this draft, right? Mendoza's off the board. Jets on the clock. We covered the edge guys. Downs at 2. Your thoughts?
As much as I love the player, I'm probably not taking him at 2. And it's more so just because of the positional importance. Like the Jets have so many holes and have so many needs at other priority positions that for me it's hard to fathom drafting a guy at a position that he's going to probably be the top 6 overall paid in the league, and is a non-premium position. If he starts to fall, and you told me you traded up from 16 to 9 or 10 to get him, I'm all for that. Absolutely, 100%. Like I said, my plan for 16, and maybe we'll talk about this, but I'll kind of give you the rough shot, is Caleb. Number one is Caleb Downs if he's there, which he won't be. Number two is Sonny Styles if he's there, which he probably won't be. Number three is one of the big three receivers if one of them falls, which is, questionable if they'll fall. So, it's not that I don't want Caleb Downs. I just don't know if the Jets situation right now, yes, you want to take best available players. You want to take shots when you have numerous high capital picks. I think I'd be more inclined to take a swing at a project edge rusher that could be, arguably, top player in the class overall, top player at his position overall in the next 5 years in Arvell Reese than I would a safety. I just think, like I said, they haven't seemed, it's only been 1 year with this regime. They haven't seemed to, last year, they didn't fill a lot of big time holes at the safety, right? They paid a middle free agent in the kid from Jacksonville. They drafted a 5th round, or they traded up from the 5th round to the 4th round for Malachi Moore. I know that, people are going to say that, when he was in Detroit, he had, great safety rooms and so on and so forth. And you're right. And with the Duke of defense now also in there, I just think that you're probably going to get a hodgepodge of free agents that they're both familiar with to come in and kind of hold the fort down in the back of the back of the line, and maybe take a guy later. It's a deeper safety class. I just don't know. Like I said, I think Caleb Downs is probably the highest floor of any of the other defensive players. And if we weren't picking at 2, I'd make the argument for him. There's probably no bigger fan of the safety position that in Jets world than me, Jake. And I still, with this team, I find it hard pressed that I take a safety at number 2. So I'd much rather take a receiver.
Yeah, that's interesting. Here's the argument for Downs from my perspective. And again, I agree with you. In the past, I've been very anti taking a safety that high for positional value purposes. But this draft feels unique in that there's not a consensus on any of the edge guys at this point. And I'm also looking at the Jets situation as one that's very unique, because this is one of 5 first-round picks. They just need to add blue-chip talent, regardless of position outside of like offensive tackle where they're set. To me, you can make the case for Downs simply because you're picking again at 16. You're picking again at 33 and 44 this year. You got 3 ones next year. I'm almost thinking, yeah, you don't want to take a safety at 2 in a normal draft, but this is not a normal draft, and the Jets are not in a normal situation with the amount of premium resources they have. I'd actually be okay with Downs because I think he might be the best overall player in the draft, and he's number 1 on your big board, which kind of backs that up.
He is number 1 on my big board. He's not my number 1 overall rated safety ever. Just happens to be, like you said, he's the best of what it's an overall weak draft class, right? A talented kid, high floor.
Who was your number 1 graded safety? Was it Hamilton?
Yes. Here's
the thing.
Of all the safeties that I've done over the past, 4 or 5 years, Hamilton had the highest grade.
Think about it like this. The Giants took Kayvon Thibodeau 5th overall. That same draft, Kyle Hamilton went 14 to the Ravens. Would you rather have Thibodeau or Hamilton, right? So at some point, BPA, that's why teams go best player available if you just use that example.
Yeah. Well, it's best player available at a position of need.
Yep.
Right. That's what I think is the true, perfect blend. And right now, as we stand, without free agency happening, we don't know. Let's go back 3 years or so. The Joe Douglas Saleh era, right? Jake, do you remember? And I'm sure maybe you talked about on your show, or maybe you heard everyone the love. The hammering for Trey McBride, right? Trey McBride coming out of Colorado State. He was going to be a Jet. There was no doubt about it. This, that, and the other thing. Everyone loved Trey McBride until what? Until free agency happened. And they signed 2 free agents, right? They signed 2 veteran guys, and then Trey McBride was just a complete afterthought. that's what I'm guessing is going to happen right here, right now with Caleb Downs. Not to say that he's not worthy of being the number 2 overall pick. I have a feeling they're going to go a completely different route with this. I'm thinking that they're going to, if they spend money in free agency, I wouldn't be surprised if they spend money at one of the free agent safeties, since there's a couple of them that are, really good and can, really fit the bill of what I think Glenn wants, that can, kind of come down and play that robber position, that overhang as well, be a force in the box, not necessarily, even flip back and be versatile enough to cover some single high. You think of Brian Cook from Kansas City, you think of Cam Curl. Those are two guys that I would spend money on. There's not many free agents that I would offer a bag to. I think those two are probably two of the top, 3 or 4 free agents that I would. Jaquan Brisker is another one. I could see the Jets offering these guys $9-10 million a year for 2-3 years, because they all fit the bill, right? They're all young, they're all scheme specific, and I think they would complement what you have in Malachi Moore already. Now, that doesn't mean that those two are coming in and Malachi Moore is locked in as the other safety. You can bring some competition in, but it doesn't have to be at 2 overall.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Lou B in the house. Luge checking in. Dom, will the Jets be better with Downs or Bailey next 5 years? If Downs, why would we not take him at 2? And why did Bailey jump up so much lately?
Well, I think I just gave you everything on Downs that I have. Like I said, Downs is, as solid, as high floor of a player as you'll find in this defense. I mean, on the defensive side of this draft class, I think he tackles very well. He plays the game very well in front of him, right? He can come down. He can be that sub package linebacker. He tackles well in the flank. He hits hard. He can run. He can turn and run with tight ends and slot receivers at times. Although he's not slow, he's not the most shiftiest and agile of guys. So, I think, but he's a high IQ. He plays instinctually. I think what you're getting is, like I said, you're getting a younger version and probably a better version of some of those names that I talked about that are free agents right now. A lot of what he does, Brian Clark does a lot of what he does, Jaquan Brisker does. So do you want to take that at 2, or do you want to, take a guy like Bailey, who, I think the upside on Bailey is through the freaking roof, right? My problem with Bailey, and I know, Bailey gets home, right? People say, well, how much of it was because he had the best defense in all college football? I don't know. My problem with him is I think his pass rush repertoire is a little one note. He's dominant with his speed around the edge. He's not going to get around the edge with just speed like he did at the college level. So, to me, that's that's the question I have. Can he develop? Can he put more nuance into his pass rush? And can he be more than a 2.5 down player? He might not be. He's not an edge center. People make the false misnomer that Bailey can't play the run. That's not true at all. Bailey does play the run. Bailey doesn't set the edge very well. He's much more of a gap shooter, disruptor type of player from the outside. He's not gonna, take on blocks and peel off double teams and hold his ground, anchor down, and hold his ground and make tackles like that. That's just not his game. So.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line like this from our guy Kevin, who says Jets tanking just to land a safety is rough. You have to remember their tank was to try and get Mendoza at 1. It became a 1 quarterback draft when Moore went back to school, which I'm grateful he did. And the problem is
you wouldn't have wanted more.
No, I don't think the staff is equipped to develop them, and I just think we're better off just waiting till 27 with, in all likelihood, a new coaching staff that could be matched up with the quarterback they take at the top.
Yeah.
Yep. But Yeah, I mean, look, their plan, Kevin, was to not have to take a safety or one of the edges. It was to get a QB, ideally, but, it didn't work out that way. Boomtown checks in. Dom, if arm length is so important, could you touch on why Linderbaum has been so successful in the NFL? For weeks leading up to his draft, everyone was harping on his lack of arm length.
I don't think arm length is nearly as important on the interior of the offensive line as it is on the outside for offensive tackles or edge rushers. But he's been, he's been so successful because he's a damn good player. You know what I mean? He's just a damn good player. I mean, and if we're being completely honest, I don't know if I think he's going to get overpaid than what a center probably should. That's, again, my opinion. I think somebody's going to pay him $18, $19, $20 million to kind of be the anchor in their offensive line.
I'd do it if I'm the Jets, by the way. Let's just build a super offensive line, because very rarely do players of his caliber actually hit the market. If I'm going to overspend, let me do it on a guy who I know is a top 5 center in the sport. I got Tippmann, I got Olu, I got Membu. I don't care what the rest of the line looks like with Simpson or AVT, or they draft someone. I'm a stacked offensive line, all young, years to come, whether it's a rookie this year or next year, or Kirk Cousins this year, or whoever next year. Like, you're set up to have an elite offensive line going forward.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong on that. The question I have, though, if you're paying Linderbaum, let's just travel down that road a little bit, Jake. He's clearly the best offensive lineman that's going to hit free agency. Are you in agreement that he's probably going to be at or above what Creed Humphrey got, right? $18 million a year, right around there. So you're going to pay him $18 million a year, $19 million a year, $20 million a year for 4 years. You're probably not going. That means you're probably not going to pay Tippmann, because you're not going to pay Tippmann and then have to extend both of your tackles. That's the one problem, if there is one problem about using this high capital on the offensive linemen in back-to-back years, is that now all these guys got to get paid, right? And the reality is, you want to keep them all. Like, you don't want to get rid of Fashanu, I'm sure. You don't want to get rid of Tippmann. You definitely don't want to get rid of Membo when the time's come. And you could say, yeah, we don't have to worry about that now, but you do. You're probably planning, financially what's going to happen 2 to 3 years later if everything, kind of stays on the same trajectory. You're just not going to pay. You're not going to be able to pay 5 guys top dollar and be able to field a serviceable team.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Rockness Monster, also known as Jets Jesus, writes in, Donut Dom. You become a legend in these parts for your ability to purchase donuts.
Listen, guys, the secret is, you watch, like, have you ever been to the West Coast? You've been to the West Coast. Have you been to Portland? They have
I've never been to Portland.
No, well, you got to go to Portland first off. It's a great city, really great city, and especially if you're a foodie. They have all sorts of things. You get this place, and I think there's a couple of them around. They're called Voodoo Donuts, and they're just like these crazy concoctions of donuts. They're all fine and dandy, a nice novelty. There's nothing better than old reliable chocolate frosted donut from Entenmann's. As you know, Jake ate about a dozen of them.
You're not wrong. You were not wrong. Derek, the Jet fan, cuts the line with this super chat. Big fan of your work, Dom. Would you be interested in moving back from pick number 2 for more draft capital? If so, how far back do we go and what position?
Yes, I would move back.
Who's coming up?
Yeah, that's the question. I think if anyone's coming up, I think it's the only way I see a team coming up to number 2 is if a team wants a tackle and they're dead set that Arizona is going to take their top tackle. So if you want to come up, you're not coming up for an edge rusher. You're not, because one of these guys are going to fall, right? And who's coming up to 2? The Pittsburgh's not coming up from 21 to 2, right? So you're talking about teams that are probably in the top 10 that are coming up. The only teams I could see possibly entertaining it would be the Giants or Cleveland at 5 or 6. And they would be coming up for a tackle. That's it. So would I go back from 2 to 5 or 6? If you could get me, if it could net me, say a pick this year and a pick next year, maybe maybe split the difference between 44 and 104 where we pick, and then get another pick for next year? Absolutely.
Don, we talked a lot about pick 2. What's the dream scenario at pick 16 as of right now for you?
I think I kind of laid it out, right? Caleb Downs, if he falls, won't fall. He won't fall at 16.
Would you trade up though if you can get him?
I would start to talk about trading up in that 9 or 10 spot. Yes, absolutely. If he reaches 9, which there's a possibility he does, I'm calling Kansas City. Or is it Kansas City or is it Saints?
Saints are 8, KC 9, Cincy 10.
I think he can, if he makes it past 5, there's a good chance that, he's available for you at 9. And I start making that call. Now, do I think the Jets will? No, I don't. Like I said, because I think all in all, when it's all said and done, I think they're going to address the safety room in free agency. But yes, I start calling. So my ideal is Caleb Banks Caleb Downs if he falls, which he won't. Sonny Styles if he falls, which he probably won't. I think the ceiling for Styles is really 5 at the Giants, and the floor, unfortunately, is 15 at Tampa Bay. He's going between those picks. I think the Giants, I think the Redskins, I think Cincinnati, and I think the Dolphins and the Cowboys, they would all take him if he was on the board. So that would be option number 2. And option number 3 for me is one of the 3 wide receivers falling. Now, is there a scenario, Jake, that all 3 of the receivers plus Downs and Styles are gone? Yes.
Then what? Are you screwed?
No, well, yeah. Listen, some people might be, and I think that. Well, first off, I'll say this: I think 16 is going to be the spot that the Jets trade down from. If unless one of their guys is there, but just say that that jackpot scenario where all 5 of those guys that I just talked about, Downs, Styles, and the 3 wide receivers are off the board, right? I think that the Jets could consider trading down. I think that's the spot where teams are going to try to come up for tackles. Like there's teams behind us. Carolina, for one, lost Ike Ekwonu in the playoffs, right? They're in desperate need of a left tackle. Cleveland in need of a left tackle. The Texans are in need of offensive linemen. I think that the Jets might be the spot that people use to shop to come up and get their tackle if there's still one on the board. So I think that's a spot that they could move down. But if worse comes worse and they can't, I know people aren't going to like this. I'm sticking and picking Vega Ioane, the guard. Again, depending on what they do in free agency, if they re-sign Simpson or AVT, that's probably not going to happen either. But he's the number 8 player in my class. I don't think I think for what we talk about, Caleb Downs being the highest floor defensive player, Ioane is the highest floor offensive player. He's 6'5", 330 pounds. Less than 10% body fat. Just a beast of a human being. A real shit kicker. It's not scheme dependent. Like he can play power, he can play gap. He'll dominate in duo blocks. I think he would be a perfect complement to Olufashinu, who we know has some trouble in terms of the power profile versus run game. I think line him up next to Ioane would be phenomenal. I know Jets fans are probably having a conniption because it's yet another offensive line in the first round. But the way this draft class falls, that's how I would go. I would go Downs, Styles, one of the 3 receivers, Ioane, if I had to stick there and pick at 16.
Daniel Jeremiah was asked by Antoine Staley on a conference call a couple of days ago about the Jets picks in the top 44. And when the quarterback conversation came up, he said he would not draft any quarterback within the first 2 rounds. What's your take on the Jets completely bypassing that position? Pick 2, 16, 33, and 44.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. At this point, I just don't know if there's that difference maker that you're going to find, that you're going to hang your hat on, that you can rely your franchise. have your franchise depend on. So, yeah, I'm resigned to the fact that I'm going to use as much of this capital this year to do two things: to put building blocks on the offense and the defense around that don't include the quarterback, and acquire more picks for next year when which I think will be uber premium value, whether to use or to use, or to trade off at some point. So I'm kind of on board with that. I don't know what they're going to do with the quarterback position. I've left my thoughts out in the atmosphere on Twitter. I'd be all for Malik Willis. I would. I know I'm one of the few. I know you got to pay him, but I'm pretty. I like the idea of what he brings as a passer. I like the idea that he's mobile. He's not Justin Fields. People want to clone him to kind of parallel him to Justin Fields. He's not Justin Fields at all. I think he's a much more developed, nuanced passer, and now 2 years off the Matt LaFleur, school of training. I'd be open to that. I'd be open to a guy like Spencer Rattler and a day 3 pick here. I don't know if our future quarterback is in this draft class. Maybe some future depth, but I don't think the future quarterback is in this draft class.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Dom C is with us here. If you have a question, write it in. Atlantic City Phil wants to know, would you be interested in drafting Cole Payton?
Yeah. I love Cole Payton.
Quarterback, North Dakota State, baby.
Yeah, I wrote him up, shameless plug, on an article on Jets X Factor in October. Said, you want to throw a dart, this is a really, really nice one to throw. Jake, 6'3", 230 pounds, true dual threat. Before you jump down my throat, chat, I think the way his dual threat skills are, like his arm strength, the way that he runs the ball, or the way he uses his legs, reminds me very, very much of a young Josh Allen. I'm not saying he's Josh Allen. I'm not saying he's going to develop into Josh Allen. There's a lot of stuff as a quarterback that he needs a lot of work on, right? But it's not throwing the ball far. He's got arm strength for days. It's not, escaping the pocket or making do off platform. He will run around you. He will run through you. It's the stuff that happens that quarterbacks need, the processing, the stuff that happens between the hashes. He's still learning how to play quarterback. Again, fifth-year senior, only has 12 starts. This year was his only year starting. So there's a big gap in progress and development that needs to be honed in. Now, it's Frank Reich and this offensive staff, the guys that are going to get it. I don't know. But, yeah, I would much rather take a day 3, a round 5, round 6 dart throw on a guy like Cole Payton than I would a round 2 pick on Drew Allar.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yep.
Dom C is our guest. We're presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Get up early, people. America, Canada, gold medal match in the Olympics, men's hockey. Can the men do what the women already did? Defeat Canada to win the gold medal. Canadians are the favorite on FanDuel. They are a 1.5 favorite on the goal line there. The over-under is set at 5.5. It's the U.S., it's Canada. Bet on the action with our sponsor, FanDuel Sportsbook, 8 a.m. I know I'll be getting up early to be watching that one. Should be a great game. It's ridiculous at that 8 a.m., but hey, that's the reality that we are all dealing with. So
some of us with kids will be up, Jake.
You'll be fine.
Yeah,
you'll be all right. Oh, man. Comments, questions, super chats. Let's get to your calls, shall we? If you want to weigh in with Dom, talk some draft with him. Now's the time, ladies and gentlemen. This guy leads us off today.
What's up, fellas? How are you?
What's up, bud? How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
So I've been struggling with this transition to the 3-4, the supposed just trying to accept it. But I've come around this morning and decided to try and embrace it. And since you're here, Dom, maybe
Yeah.
talk a little bit of strategy.
Yeah, well, let me say this, Kyle, before you get into that.
Yep.
I think people need to pump the brakes on this whole we are now a 3-4 team. We might use more odd front principles at times.
But you think multiple.
Absolutely. Like even the biggest and the best, 3-4 teams of our generation, the Pittsburghs over the past, I think they ran more even man fronts because most defenses these days are in sub packages and nickel packages so often. So it's not going to be a true transition like it was in the Parcells days. Parcells days, you were one or the other. I think that you're given I think I don't know the whole reasoning because Glenn has used it a little bit, but he's been much more of a 4-man front, through his time in New Orleans and in Detroit. I wonder if it has something to do with them looking at the talent at the top of this draft and saying, how can we bet, let's go get one of the best edge, teachers in whatever the guy's name is from Pittsburgh, the coach. I always forget his name. Dunbar. Let's go get Dunbar, and that's where the strength of this draft is, and we'll be able to. And then you're looking at the talent that you have, and Will McDonald can be a stand-up rusher, right?
Right.
I think that if you draft one of these guys, Bailey or Reese, they could be a stand-up rusher. I think that Jermaine Johnson could do a little bit of hybrid stuff in a pinch. Stand up from the outside. He did it at Florida State for a while as well. So maybe they're just looking at what they have and what they possibly could have and saying that it's going to be a fit. But I don't know if it's going to be. I'd be surprised if we ran anything more than 15 or 20% odd man 3-4 fronts.
But it does seem like Jermaine is kind of the odd man out as a power guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, do I expect him to get an extension if they, kind of move forward with a more of a less multiple and more heavy odd man front? He'd probably be the odd man out. Not this year, but in the future, yes.
Unless there's a trade that we're not even, in the offing that we're not aware of. I think that in the second round, your nose is going to be there, or your one when we go for the 4th race. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So even if we were to trade out of 33 at 44, people are going to be concerned about Banks' injuries, although I think he'll probably go at the end of the first. But Caden McDonald or the other guy, Lee Hunter, probably be there at 44. Is that fair?
I don't know.
Definitely at 33, you'd think, right? One of those guys will be there.
Possibly, maybe not. So here's the thing. I think that Caleb Banks, he's of those three that we talked about. Caleb Banks is the highest rated one that I have. He's not going to be a fit for everyone because he's not a true, he's not a true zero tech. He wouldn't play the nose in a 3-4. He's not a true 1 tech even though he can play that. He's a 3 tech. He's very similar to the kid from Kentucky that Buffalo took last year, where he might be big in size and long, but he's going to find his home as a 3 tech. He's more of a penetrator than he is, like read and react, stack and shed kind of guy. Where McDonald is completely the opposite. McDonald right now is not. I don't think he's got an NFL pass rush repertoire, but he's going to stand his ground. He's going to 2-gap, and he's going to eat up blockers and be a really, really, really effective versus the run to help those linebackers run free.
And you see Hunter as having 0 and 1 tech flexibility.
Yeah, I think Hunter can do. I think Hunter is a perfect blend of both of Banks and McDonald. Now, if I had to guess, I think Caleb Banks is probably the one. Even though he's my second ranked defensive tackle, he's my highest ranked of those three. I think he's the one that could make it to round 2. I think
because of the injuries.
Yeah, and he's not going to be, like I said, his stylistically, he's not going to be a fit for everyone.
Okay.
Some guys want their defensive tackle short, and stout and explosive for the leverage battle. He loses leverage at 6'6" all the time. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Banks is just not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Older prospect, 24, coming off a tightrope surgery, and just not a body fit for a lot of defenses. And I could see Caden McDonald and Lee Hunter both being snatched up in the 20s in round 1.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting they will, but I could see that much. I could see that pretty easily.
And with our current personnel,
Mm-hmm.
if we were to run a base 3-4,
Mm-hmm.
Phillips and Briggs are the ends. Is that?
I'd right now as constituted, I'd probably say Phillips is your nose, and Briggs is your 5 tech.
Right,
One
but
of the
I'm
ends.
assuming we're going to bring in a true zero. Like,
Then I don't think. I mean, maybe you could put him in that 4i or 5 as well, Phillips. I'd probably think he's probably rotational in the middle.
Okay. See, that's the one reason I think that if he doesn't have a spot, because I don't see him as a true nose. I think he might be off the team. Like,
No,
if
but
we're going to play
remember,
predominantly 3-4.
yeah, remember, I don't think we will. I
Yeah.
think you're gonna see a lot more even man fronts. And remember, these defensive linemen definitely need to. There's not much depth there. Who's the kid that we drafted, the undrafted free agent from Clemson last year, Peyton Page. He's a big body. He's gonna. He could be a rotational piece. I mean, maybe Harrison Phillips is just a rotational piece. Listen, at $7.5 million, it's a bargain. Now, yes, you can clear that money. You clear all $7.5 million of that. You owe nothing. And that goes right to your cap. But if you move on from Harrison Phillips, it's just another piece that you have to replace when they're already trying to replace 31. So to me, it doesn't make sense.
Right. So I'm just trying to get through our front 7, right? Like, in that scenario, you presume that maybe Will is a stand-up edge, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe you're bringing Reese to be a stand-up edge, right?
Yeah. I mean, Reese, Jermaine, and Will would be probably your outside backers / stand-up defensive ends.
Right. So then you're looking for some time between round 2 and round 5 to bring in some guys to compete at the inside linebacker spots, and probably have to grab a guy at free agency. At least.
You're going to need a lot of that. Like, it's hard to have, like, this conversation makes a lot more sense 2 weeks from now when free agency is kind of off and running,
right,
and you see where they're going. But yes, like,
but Tom, he's on the air for 4.5 hours a day. What am I supposed to do?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying we shouldn't have the conversation. I said there's a lot more clarity in it.
Yeah, I
once free agency happens.
I'm joking.
I think that the linebacker position.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
This is what we do, Tom. We talk about it all.
I think the linebacker position is going to be one that has to be addressed at both free agency and the draft. I think the safety position is one that has to be addressed in free agency and the draft. And the defensive tackles, probably just because you need a lot of them, probably will be handled in both. It might be a low-level free agency and a high draft pick, or vice versa. Some depth pieces drafted, and you spend some money on a defensive tackle. Would you bring in DJ Reader to be your zero, to be your nose tackle? I would.
On a short-term basis, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't suggest, or I'm not suggesting that's going to happen. I think he's going to, have his, he's going to have his way and the opportunity to go wherever he wants. And I doubt he's going to pick the Jets.
So since the flavor of this draft to me is more defensive, my idea was, with those top 2 picks, if you have premium offensive players, maybe you should grab them. But it sounds like, there are so many needs on the defense that this could be a wild anything goes type situation for the Jets. Like, depending on who we can get to come here in free agency and who they're comfortable retaining as we get closer to the beginning of the free agent period. This is really the most wide open, uncertain offseason that I can ever remember, and it's just the nature of all the flux with the coaching staff and not being a definitive number 2 in the draft, or like I feel like this is a 20-player first round, and like the players between 2 and say 19 are pretty interchangeable, to be quite frank. And
but it's not even just 2 and 19. I mean, you could do 2 and 19, and then you could do 20 and 50, and then you could do 50 and 150. Like it's you're spot on with that. You're going to see most teams want to move back and back and back, and they're not going to find a lot of trade partners to do so. I'm guessing, because the value that they might have on a guy, the value might be equal on a guy they have at 50 as they do at 100.
That said, the picks that we have, 2 and 33, if you're going to move back in the draft, I think that those would probably be the spots, right, in this draft.
2 is going to be hard.
2 is going to be hard, but as far as if there's a player that you absolutely want, that's the guy that we're the team you would have to deal with, right?
No, well, yeah. I just don't think I don't think anyone's. There's what I'm saying is, Kyle. I don't think there's anybody that's moving up to 2. There's no one that people aren't going to. I don't expect people.
No one's getting Gaga over Reese. No one's getting Gaga over Bane.
Correct, because they're all good and they all have their faults. And if I'm a team that needs an edge, if I'm Tennessee, I'll just sit quietly and take whichever and make the decision when I'm on the clock.
Yeah, why trade assets when you have similar grades on all the guys?
Correct.
All right, I'm looking forward to having a broader strategy discussion as we get through free agency. I appreciate your time, guys.
Likewise, ladies and gentlemen, the great Kyle Clifton.
And here we go. Let's go.
Combine is next week, baby. Couple of super chats, then we'll say goodbye to our guy Dom C. I'll stay on for the remaining calls. Andrew C. says, he not doom pilling me. I have no idea what this is in reference to, but thank you.
$10 for it, though.
Yeah, he's in the raffle for 2. Neil checks in. Article by Mike Luciano today saying the Jets may take a flyer on Anthony Richardson. I called that yesterday. Let him compete with 2 other veteran QBs. No good answers. I mean, he's a name just because he's talented and it hasn't worked out. It can't be Richardson and no one else. If it's, Cousins or Carr and Richardson and then a day 3 pick, all right. I'm not in love with Anthony Richardson, but at least you're just trying to take someone with upside and coach him up.
But are you going to give up value or draft capital to?
Yeah, what am I giving up? If it's a 5th round pick, fine.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a tough one. At that point, honestly, I'd kiss and make up with Justin Fields. Yeah. Before I trade something for Anthony Richardson.
Maybe we trade them Fields. They give us Richardson.
Maybe.
Joey with a super chat. What do you think of Joe Fagnato? 28 touchdowns, 1 interception, 6'4", 225. Who's Joe Fagnato?
He is a pocket passer extraordinaire.
The UConn quarterback.
UConn quarterback, exactly. He actually started his career in Maine, playing smaller school. He's from the area. He's an East Coast kid. He's a big boy. Like I said, they showed his numbers. Listen, there's not – I don't know if the arm talent, I don't know if the athleticism, I don't know if the processing is really NFL draft worthy. But he's definitely a guy that'll be in a camp this year. The stats and the build and the all that stuff will probably be enough to land him a UDFA deal. For fuck's sake, if Brady Cook can get one, there's no doubt in my mind that Fagnato will get one. So I just don't know if he's a true, if he's got true NFL talent. But in fairness, there's a bunch of guys in that, in that realm for me that I don't think have that.
The dream is back. Andrew C says, Jawan Briggs jersey me, raffle me. So Andrew C just making up his own raffle rules. We're raffling away Jets Legends jerseys today. Keyshawn, Mangold, Revis, Crepet, Martin, Klecko, name it. But Andrew C's like, if I win, I want Jawan Briggs. Well, Andrew, you're in the raffle for 2. We'll see if you win, and then we'll go from there.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
I would absolutely take that Keyshawn Johnson jersey just because that was the stylistically, that was the best one. That's the best.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to get the membership right now. And since it's my show, I make the rules. I'm putting Dom C in the raffle for 1. So I'm going to gift the membership. And if Dom were to win, we're going to send him that Keyshawn jersey. So 1 membership from yours truly. Last chance to start gifting. I'm counting the names here. A bit of a shorter Saturday show. So if you want in the raffle, this is your last chance. I have officially gifted 1 channel membership. Hit it, John Gruden.
It's Jets, Jets. I love Fireman Ed too.
Dom is officially in the Asmaniac raffle now. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. By the way, Luca Lombardo is the recipient of the gifted membership from yours truly. Andrew C with another $10 super chat. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate your support. Field soft tissue injury, perhaps, though, question mark. He was healthy at the end of the year, and he basically said he was done playing. I mean, they asked him about playing in Wildcat packages. He's like, I don't want a soft tissue injury. Then magically they put him on IR about a week and a half later. I think the relationship between the Jets and Fields is fractured, and he's gone. But until he's officially released, I guess we could still potentially discuss him. I don't know why, but he's technically still on the team.
Yeah, there's 99.5% chance that he's not on this roster next year. But if my decision's coming between Anthony Richardson and kissing and making up with Justin Fields, like, come over here, big boy. Let me smooch one. Let me smooch one right on you, Justin.
Big fella checking in.
Can you hear me?
We can now, big fella. I feel like we could make a trade with the Titans. Tavondre Sweat doesn't fit Salah's defense. Trade out of 2, pick up their pick, a 3rd, and Sweat.
Yeah, I love the idea of,
who's the solid defender in this draft that he would love the most, in your opinion, based on what we know?
It's either gonna be Bailey or Bane. They're stylistically they're different, but he wants that power rusher, he wants a JJ, and he wants his wide 9 speed freak in Bryce Huff or Will McDonald. So, he's gonna have the best of both worlds there. They're in perfect shape. They don't need to trade. They don't need to trade up. They can just sit back and take whichever one that falls to them. I like the idea. I like the mindset of Tavondre Sweat. I think we'd probably have to give up capital along with that. I don't think we'd be getting a third in Sweat. But the premise of it makes sense. I like that.
Andrew C, another 2 entries.
Good job.
I feel like I want to see Fields play again, but he was so bad at throwing the ball, he got Garrett hurt. Well, then why do you want to see him play again? He's terrible.
Yeah, he's awful.
He stinks. He's so bad.
He's really bad.
All you need to know about Fields is Mike Tomlin, a Hall of Fame coach, benched him when the team was 4-2 with him.
Yeah. I'm thinking about that previous offer from Briga. I'm not quoting this as original. I heard it. I think it was Zach Rosenblatt or who's the Irish guy on the Badlands show? I forget his name.
Paul McGowan?
Yeah.
The Irish guy.
Yeah. He's got an Irish sounding name.
Who's the Irish guy? The Badlands show.
Yeah. So they were on I was listening to a podcast that they were talking, and I think it was Rosenblatt throughout this trade proposal that I really liked. The Jets trade with Philadelphia 16 for whatever Philadelphia's picking, and to make up the difference, they give you Tanner McKee.
Where are the Eagles picking?
In the 20s.
Do you believe in Tanner McKee that you want to move from 16 to 23?
Yes. I would take that chance on a Tanner McKee.
Do we get another pick on top of that? So we get McKee and they give us a pick?
Again, they were just yapping it up. I think it was Zach when he was doing his athletic first round mock draft. Like that was a suggestion. But yeah, I listen. A guy like Tanner McKee, I talked about Spencer Rattler. Like those are guys that I would like to get and give an opportunity to show. I mean, I would take those guys like that, that are young, that are talented. Again, Frank Reich has the experience with Tanner McKee at Stanford, right? He understands him. He's 6'5". He's everything that Frank Reich wants. Now, could he play football? Who knows? He's done it in little spurts and flashes in preseason, but wouldn't that be kind of the dart throw that you would rather take than, hey, let's hope that, let's hope that the third coming of Geno Smith, or Marcus Mariota works out this time. No, give me a guy like Tanner McKee, give me a guy like Spencer Rattler, throw him out there with, another KG veteran, and throw him out there with a third round rookie. Whichever one wins the job, wins the job.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew C. says, Dom C. knows more than me. I agree. Dom C. knows all.
I don't know about all. I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's do one more call with Dom because I know he's a big fan of this man.
Woo, woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. Ay, 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 ay.
Is that a mohawk? You working a mohawk there, Beast?
No shit. Having a nice sirloin steak.
You're eating steak with your hand?
No. Steak and eggs. Look at that. Look at the inside. That is what you call medium rare. A little medium rare.
I don't think it's medium rare.
That looked like shoe leather, brother.
Shoe leather, my ass. You want to see it again? Look at the inside.
There's a little more rare to it.
Yeah, that one's a little bit more. That's medium. That's medium right there. That's medium to medium well.
That's perfect. Gordon Ramsay would say the same thing. That's perfectly medium rare. I prefer medium rare. If it was overdone, I would have had to throw it in the trash. At number 2, we're taking Mendoza. At number 16, we need to take a safety.
What if Mendoza goes 1, Beast? Then what?
Then you go with Bane. You have no choice. You're stuck with a no-win situation of getting Bane. You're just gonna have to. You're stuck. It's called you're in an NW no-win situation. Get Bane.
What's Bane's first name?
I have no idea, but I know he's Batman. He looks big enough. He's taller than Michael Keaton. I'll say that, no shame. And Michael Keaton was a great Batman. And no, I mean, I'm not a DC person. I'm more of a Marvel.
Christian Bale was the best Batman, Beast.
No, Michael Keaton.
No, Christian Bale.
Michael Keaton, baby.
Christian Bale.
We'll see about that. We'll see. Because you were born at a later time when Val Kilmer came out for the third Batman, which was Batman Forever with Jim Carrey and Catwoman.
Yeah, Christian Bale, best Batman.
Michael Keaton. And don't forget the great Jack Nicholson, too, in the first Batman.
He was the Joker. He wasn't Batman.
Jack Nicholson played the Joker in the movie Batman.
Right. The best Joker ever, though, was Heath Ledger.
Nah, Jack
He won an Oscar.
I'll take Jack Nicholson over him.
No way. Heath Ledger won an Oscar. He wasn't even around to win the Oscar. He was already dead at that point.
Jack Nicholson has been known for great movies. And plus, who gets ringside seats at the Lakers game all the time? Jack Nicholson. Because Jack Nicholson's he's a funny guy, especially some of his great movies he's been in. As Good as It Gets. Even the one crazy movie where he wants, I don't want to hurt you. I just want to beat your brains in.
How about The Departed? Did you see that one, Beast?
No, I haven't, but I will take a look at it. But if we wind up getting Bane, that's fine with me. But I'm gonna say this once: don't get Fields. He's a bum, and I'm gonna say it with Scarface reference. He was a bum then. He's a bum now. A bum. He should be. You know what he should be doing? He should be pumping gas somewhere out in Jersey, somewhere as a gas attendant, going, "How much you want on that gas? You want 5, 10, 15, 20? How much you want on gas?" He should be a bellboy and pump gas. At least he'll make some money. That's better money than sitting around doing nothing.
Hey, Beast, what draft questions do you have for Dom? It's not often we get a man of this level of
see for the
expertise.
future right now, because 2027 has 5 first-round draft picks. But what I do see, Mr. Dom, we are definitely going to have to spend a hell of a lot of money because Aaron Glenn's job's on the line right now. He's in the red. That means danger. So what does Aaron got to do in a situation? What's he gonna have to do now that he's in the red? What's he gonna do? It's your call.
Oh, I have no idea.
Well, he's gonna have to play the human game of chess. See, Larry Sabisco's always said, if you don't know the human game of chess, then you know what? Get your ass off the board and go to another game. Because right now we're playing chess because as of right now, where it stands, Aaron Glenn's job's on the line, and he needs to better.
What does Aaron Glenn have to do to save his job?
Well, right now I think Beast is playing chess, and my mind is definitely playing checkers. Because
Beast, shut up and let Dom speak. This is God taking over the show.
How would you like the BT special?
Shut up and let the guest speak. Let him speak. He's trying to answer your question, and you're distracting everything.
Holy shit.
I got a surprise for you, Fatty.
That's your BT special, jerk off. You don't want none of this.
Can you let the guest speak, please? Dom is going to answer the question about Aaron Glenn's future.
I got all day. I got all day. As a matter of fact,
I know you have all day.
I think Beast is playing chess and I'm playing checkers. Like I said, he's got me speechless. I'm not exactly sure.
Look at the body. Yeah. Looking good, Beast. A man's man.
Yeah, I want to see. I'm more interested in that mohawk. I thought you were completely bald.
Yesterday, Beast was offered $1,600 to shave it, and he turned it down.
Really?
Yeah.
Not deal.
Amazing.
Danger Zone says peak male physique. If Beast was in this draft, where would you put him on your big board, Dom?
He's definitely up there. Probably right behind. I don't know. I'm guessing. Beast, did you play football?
Only baseball because football didn't have the money.
Okay. So if you played football,
but I actually have the ESPN version because that challenges me a hell of a lot more than Madden does. Madden is too easy for me. Need something a little bit more up to scale.
If you played football, I'm going to guess you would probably be, Jake, what do you think? Defensive line?
I would say quarterback, but if not defensive line, absolutely. He's like Jared Lorenzen.
The hefty lefty, Jared Lorenzen.
That's right.
No, I'd put Beast right in that same tier as Caleb Banks and Lee Hunter.
Gator says top 74,000 for sure.
Hey, for a big man, at 272, this ain't just not your ordinary body. This is a God body, son. Take that to the bank all day long, 24/7. If you want to eat man's egg, I already put the best into these eggs today. A little garlic, a little pepper, a little salt, boom. Or should I say, boom, shaka laka.
Boom shakalaka. On that note, I'm gonna leave you and Beast alone, Jake.
Yeah, we have lots of ground to still cover, Tom. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Real quick, Andrew C says I'd shave my head for $1,600. Any takers?
I'd shave all the hair off my body. I'd shave my eyebrows for $1,600.
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot of money. Dom, great job, man. Always appreciate you hopping on.
Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you soon, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dom C, talking Jets, Jets X Factor. What are you doing there, Beast?
Checking the muscle. Make sure it's all good.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, that's big. That's a big man's muscle. Oh.
Some super chats, and then your remaining calls. We got a couple good ones here. Andrew C says, I'm with Beast. Michael Keaton, best Batman, 1989. No way. Kyle Clifton, Bonesy sold Beast a pair of loafers for lunch. Well played. Andrew C, I just read that one. He shaved his head for 1,600. Lou B says, Beast is getting bigger per day. Beast, are you adding some weight?
272. That's good. That's right. That's super strength right there, son. That's a lot of work, but it'll take time. It'll take time. Just remember.
All right, to your last remaining calls, we will go. We have, of course, the raffle for a Jets jersey of your choosing, and the top prize in raffle 62 was announced earlier in the show. I'm going to add another couple of prizes, but this week's top prize is a Broadway Joe Namath helmet. So good luck to everyone who's competing. I will get to more of your calls, but first, we need a quick break, and when we come back, we end the show with all your calls and the raffle. Go Jets.
Rejected. Sorry. Bullshit.
I hate this team. My New York Jets. Woody owes me a hug. I hate this team. Every fucking week. Will we ever win a game? I hate this team. Can we find a decent quarterback? I hate this team. These are the same old Jets. The worst team in professional sport. I hate this team.
Today's not your birthday?
I'm practicing for it.
Your birthday is Monday, though, Lane.
Yeah, but because of the Jews' holiday, I can't have anybody over until after the following week.
Okay, so you can have cake today in preparation for your actual birthday.
Yeah.
Lane wants to say hi to you. It's his birthday in 2 days. He's practicing for it.
I'm trying to take
Thank
care
you.
of a very big problem here that I don't deeply appreciate.
I mean, I like Mason.
Anthony Mason?
Yeah, Anthony Mason.
You're getting your ass kicked every fucking week. Damn it! I don't get it, but I'm not the head coach.
Like a little goal. That's not football! That's not a man! That's a bitch! I'm done.
Remember when you had dead maggots living in your toe?
No, they were alive. They weren't dead. They were
Oh,
alive.
great. Even better.
One got in there, and then it was nasty. It was bad.
Disgusting.
In fact, I played golf with Rich Kotite at the Jet Golf Classic. In the parking lot, I told him I had some advice for him, and he dismissed me like I was a caddy. And then they went 1-15.
Same shit! Come on now! What the fuck?
You're like Dr. Melfi for like the most damaged people in the world.
You did take a couple of my calls. I tried to call in a couple of times,
I
but
didn't dismiss you. I probably was on the air and the show was ending. I didn't have time to squeeze
I
you
thought
in.
you were mad at me, honestly. I was drinking. Some shit I didn't even mean. So this is my football right here, going in the toilet.
What? No. False. False security, man.
Scatterboo time. Giants
No,
are
it's
tough
not
to-
scatterboo time. You just put the ball in the toilet.
Is it going down? Smell that toilet water?
Oh.
There's some bogus charge on my card, and I don't like the sign of that. Give me someone American I can speak to.
Mm-hmm.
Give me someone American I can talk to.
Why are you so upset?
Hello?
Mm.
I don't even know a password. I'm trying something here.
Gator says, was Beast the best choice as your tech support engineer? I still believe in him, Gator. Absolutely.
I tried Raunchy 14. Didn't want to work.
Hogwarts 350 LBs.
Hey, watch it. Got it. Oh, bullshit, man. This is so fucking stupid. Dippy, go. You want to get cracked, Spencer? I got the baseball bat waiting for you, you son of a bitch. I got to paint him with a hemorrhoid.
Calm down. Take it easy. Are you crying, bro? In this alliance, we support each other. You're the leader, goddammit.
Yeah, I know. I'm like an emperor almost in a weird way. That's not shit. That was washed immediately.
That looks like a shit in the underwear, Beast. Big Cho, after months of constant questions, inquiries, and emails, finally got the opportunity to both see his first Jets game at home
and meet up with Asmaniacs for an epic tailgate.
It was an adventure trying to get to the game because my Uber driver didn't speak English.
Did he speak Cho?
So he didn't speak Cho, didn't know where to go, couldn't get with the flow.
He may not have believed it prior, but he was clearly the star of the show when Asmaniacs lined up to meet him, get autographs, and of course take photos with this legend.
And looked after me and treated me like a celebrity. You know, I got to meet Dre Day. I signed a jersey from him. Papa Jet, Team Curry, Lumpy. I sat next to Kyle. I mean, all those people are fantastic. They're like family to me, and I only met them for a weekend. And some very fine-looking ladies. I'm going to tell you, the girls in New York, they look really good. I felt like I was a player.
I did not know you actually had the scars and shit in the back of your neck. I thought you were just like on Valium and just fucking were just lazy as shit. And then when I saw you at the tailgate sitting in the chair and you looked like Nightmare Before Christmas on your back, I get why you're like in pain and shit like that. So.
Oh my God, I'll give Aaron Glenn's grade a 5 out of 10. What's up? That's the only good thing Aaron Glenn's at. Good at. This is also dancing. What do you think, Big Chow?
This is a nightmare.
Mad Max wants to buy your ticket.
I'll pay you 25.
I won't go under 100.
Or $105. Does that sound good, Big Chow?
105?
Yes. I'm just negotiating with Big Chow. I'll buy your ticket, you know.
We always expect to lose. Will we ever be a winner? Figure this out, Woody. This team is shit.
And we're back. What a blast. Down memory lane, more of your outstanding calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to say hello to...
Chuck Wagon's always cooking, which it takes. Chuck Wagon's even cooking at the game. Chuck Wagon hates McDonald's, but he's headed home to cook. It's time once again for Chuck Wagon.
Hey, Drake.
Hello, Chuck.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Now everybody keeps talking about downs. You guys are going to talk into existence, it sounds like, at number 2.
I mean, I like the player. I don't know if I'm there just yet of actually putting the name on the card at 2. I got to see what the Jets do in free agency. If they sign a couple of safeties, then I don't think they would do it. But we'll see. I mean, again, he's a great player. Like, if you watch his highlight tape, you see why a lot of Jet fans want him at 2.
I wouldn't mind taking them if they traded back first, a few picks, traded back, then got them. Then I'll be fine with that. But it's just, for me, it's a hard pill to swallow at 2.
I get it. I just don't know if you're going to be able to trade back.
Yeah. Hypothetical, just for S's and G's. Let's just say the Raiders do not take him number 1. You think the Jets will be crazy enough to still trade with someone who wants him that badly, or you think they'll pick him?
I think it depends on their grades on these guys, honestly. It's too early.
Yeah. Okay. Are you going to be there for the whole week or just a couple of days?
I'm there Monday to Friday, Chuck Wagon. Buckle
okay,
up.
the whole week.
All right? You better
Sweet.
buckle up. Also, there's going to be a surprise in the mail being sent your way this week, so be on the lookout.
Okay. Very nice. Let me guess. Compliments of Jets Forever?
No. Compliments of the Jake Asman merch store.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, let me tell you
Awesome.
this. Beast Breakers coming for the crown after that steak performance. What did you think?
Definitely well done. Did not look medium rare at all. But, I mean, if you like to chew on leather, I mean, more power to them.
Beast Breaker.
Beast, would you like to respond to the Chuck Wagon?
Not
You mean-
now. I'm actually reading something right now. I'm reading.
Hey,
I
get
can
off your
barely
ass.
see him. Oh, okay. He's in the back, way in the back. Okay.
Hey,
Hey, Beast.
I'm a little gassy right now too.
Oh, we know that.
Nah, it's not that kind of gassy. I'm talking the other.
Woo, 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 woo.
I didn't realize steak made you gassy. Anything else makes you gassy?
I didn't get good sleep.
Oh,
The question should be, what doesn't make Beast gassy?
Burned all night. Had too much stress.
okay. So lack of sleep makes you gassy. I just want to make sure we're getting that right.
And it's cold, and I don't feel like moving around right now. It's cold. I stay
Do they
warm.
still call you Gassy McGee?
What was that?
Hey, Eli says clean your room.
Don't pull his pants on, blow it out his ass.
Hey, you got to put some pants on. No one wants to see your butt cheeks.
I have my red shorts on, looking good. It's called Women in Black and Red. Want to take a number? I feel like Al Bundy at the shoe store going, take a number.
Hey, Ralphie
Sorry,
says
man,
Lucky
they'll-
Charms equals gas. Did you have Lucky Charms this morning with your breakfast?
The answer is no, McFly.
Actually, the milk, I can understand if milk made him gassy. Maybe he's lactose intolerant. Do you use regular
Yeah,
milk
well,
or do you
I
use soy milk? Or almond milk?
I rather take 2% or any day of the week.
2%.
I'm the 2%
That's a fine
around
choice.
here.
Cali Jet wants to know when the Civil War starts.
Just wait and find. Just wait, and you'll find out. You just gotta pay attention. You don't know when it's gonna start. You don't know when it's coming.
Gator writes,
Be
welcome to
prepared.
the offseason. 218 people looking at Beast's ass in bed.
You know, there is Gas X. You can take that and that'll help with the gas.
All right, Beast.
You're
well,
lucky my ass ain't like Titanic right now.
You are the Titanic.
I was going to say a hot air
Yeah.
balloon if he's that full of gas.
Yeah, well, we'll enjoy the day as much as you can because it's not gonna. Spring's right around the corner. You know that it's coming right up.
Hey, I got the
cannot
raffle
wait.
coming up. You better be ready. Otherwise, you're being benched and we're going to go to the bullpen again.
Don't worry. I'm just waiting right now. Waiting for the gas.
Right now, we're getting some gabagool. If you really want some gabagool, you gotta come get the gabagool. Catch you later.
Chuck Wagon, we
All right.
accomplished a lot, so thank you for calling in.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Good job.
Chuck Wagon checking in. From the Chuck Wagon to the Dream. What a back-to-back. Hello, Dream.
What's up, man? What do you any thoughts on the Tyreek Hill Chubbs cut list from Miami?
I'm more interested in Chubb than I would be Hill. Hill, I don't think is going to sign with a team that's not a contender. I think he ends up going back to the Chiefs if he's healthy. I don't even know if he's going to be healthy, though. His knee injury was
I
not
think
typical.
he's going to the Jaguars. That's what I heard some talk about that down here in Jacksonville. You know?
Well, that's not being – people are just speculating. There's no reports of that.
No, this is me speculating. Me on the beat.
Oh. You're an insider?
I don't know. My friend who's a Jaguar fan said he wants it, so that's me being an insider.
Hey, Dream, I like your glasses there. Those are sunglasses, right?
They're also prescription. Yeah.
You look good.
Thank you. Like Knight Rider.
Those are the same glasses that Beast has in this video, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Don't let go of the rope. What rope are you talking about? This whole team looks like it's shot to shit. Who the hell do you think you are? I am.
No? I see the similarities. Not me and Beast and Michael Keaton. I'm with Beast on his Michael Keaton as Batman. He liked him. So, yeah.
Yeah, but
Wrong
better
with that?
than
Better than Bale?
yeah. Christian Bale.
A little rough on that one, but I mean, you know what? The 1989 Batman was so good because I remember it was my father took me to a drive-in movie in New Jersey to see that movie. I don't know. That movie has a special place in my heart, you know?
I see.
A great movie.
Hey, Chuck Wagon is called back. And everything okay, Chuck? Okay.
Chuck Wagon.
Hey, what other reports are you hearing? Sham wants to know. What other reports are you hearing?
Reports is Dream hearing. Oh, insider reports?
Yeah. You want to be our show insider for the offseason?
Down here in Jacksonville. The Jaguar reports.
Hey, you getting up early for USA Hockey, 8:10 a.m. tomorrow? How many drinks you putting down?
I'm still drinking. What do you mean putting down?
Well, tomorrow morning, you're just gonna go through the weekend?
Yeah, that's how you do it, right?
What are you drinking right now?
Sailor Jerry.
Aye, Captain.
Aye, yeah, exactly. You know,
You got the jet bug. Hey, I'm gonna send you a Jake Asman show pint glass.
Pint glass.
Yeah.
Get out of here. You know what I would really like?
What do you want?
A Jake Asman Gorman fanny pack.
You want a fanny pack?
From Gorman, yeah.
Only
I
if you
would
wear
like
it
a
every
sign
time.
from Gorman.
I'll order you a fanny pack, but you got to wear it every time you call in.
All right. We can arrange that.
Well, you got yourself a deal done, Dream.
You've got yourself a deal. Yeah. How's Gorman? Where's Gorman? Yeah. Who won the March Madness caller thing last year?
Who won it?
Yeah.
The great Mr. Bonesy.
Yeah, Bones. Yeah. I mean, that's a great man right there.
He really is.
Who did he beat in the final round?
Who did he beat?
Yeah,
He beat the great King Lowski.
All right, yeah.
It was dramatic. It was intense.
Now, I sent you a super chat as that about Sean. Remember, I said, "Hey Jake, did we kiss Jake?" And it was some weird super chat. Is that fucked up with the? And then it was Sean. Remember when me, you, and Sean were doing the back and forth?
Do I remember?
Yeah.
Of course I remember.
That was good. That was a good night.
Oh yeah.
That was. I think that was right before the. That was the week after the Jets played the Cowboys. Who did they play after the Cowboys last season?
Hey, Dream, do you want a small/medium size fanny pack or a medium/large?
No, I'm an extra large.
All right, we'll give you the
Still
medium/large
working on the
one.
weight loss. Nobody wants to join in on the weight loss. I mean, I don't know, it's like
I'll get you a weight loss guy. Beast, you want to join in on the weight loss?
Oh boy, here we go. No, he's the king of who should be in the weight loss.
Beast, you there?
I was actually checking out the Red album called World Painted Blood by one of my favorite bands called Slayer. Very nice.
Hey, Dream, do you still live I don't want to dox your address, but 3550, is that you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm ordering your fanny pack right now.
All right, I'm lighting my cigarette off the old toaster because
This is the best $21.52 I've ever spent.
How's Gorman doing? Where's Gorman been?
He's gearing up for the tournament. You know, he's trying to get a job.
Ooh, what kind of job are we talking?
Any job. Actually, this is the best $27.96 I've ever spent after shipping.
Interesting.
Yep.
So, I've been thinking about the cruise. What if I were to make an appearance on that cruise, the Jets cruise?
What if I were to tell you that cruise is no longer happening?
Wow. Really? What happened?
Not enough interest.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dude, oh man. That's you were really trying to get this thing off the ground or off the water, so to say. Damn, man. Oh.
Yeah. It's too bad the Jets stink. That hurts interest.
It was, man, if the Jets made a playoff appearance, that probably would have happened.
Yeah.
So what's your next year with the you do a home game and then an away game.
That's right.
What's gonna be your away game next year, next season?
To be determined. Depends on the schedule, Dream.
What about
Where do you want to go? If you could pick any road
well,
destination.
apparently the Indiana Bears, right?
They won't be in Indiana just yet, though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Have you ever been in California?
I was just there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you were just there. Sorry. I don't know, man. What about like what stadium have you not been to?
Most of them.
What about like Green Bay?
They don't play the Packers next year.
Who do they play? Who's like who's an away game next season?
Well, they don't play them in Green Bay, I should say.
Yeah.
Here are the opponents. Here are the options.
All right.
Buffalo, Kansas City, Chicago, Miami, LA, Detroit, New England, Tennessee, or Arizona.
All right. So fuck New England. All right. Because that's where I'm from. And I hate the Patriots. A little late on that one. Yeah.
Oh, you mean the shit?
Pull up the away games again. Now, hold on. I was pull up the away. Yeah, okay, here we go.
Buffalo, Kansas City, Chicago, New England, Buffalo, Miami, Tennessee, and Phoenix.
How about Tennessee?
You're the only 10 I see.
Come on, really? Yeah. I'm thinking. All right, pull them up again. Where's Beast at? I mean, Arizona's a choice.
I think we're targeting Chicago if the weather works out. Nashville would also be great.
Yeah,
I'm already going to LA for the Super Bowl next year, so I'm leaning against the Charger one, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all right.
I'll tell you what, Dream. You come up with your top 3, and we'll discuss it next time you call in.
I like this idea. Where's Beast at? What does Beast think?
What are you talking about, brother?
Where would you like to go besides the attic?
You mean this corporational headquarters? Corporational headquarters?
Besides the headquarters, yes, of course.
Well, MetLife Stadium has always been a hotspot destination as part of a future reference.
It is a hotspot, yeah.
Let me say one thing only. F Boston, because they still suck. They suck then, they suck now.
All right.
Thank you. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. There's no cat.
Huh?
I thought I heard a cat.
I do have a cat, yes.
Oh, yeah, you're a cat man. I see that.
I'm not a cat man. It's from an ex-girlfriend. I still own the cat. The cat liked me better than the ex-girlfriend thing,
Well, gentlemen, we covered a lot of ground, but I have to get to the raffle and a couple more calls here.
All right, put me in the raffle, Jay.
And
You're
I
already
need to
in
hit
it.
the toilet. I gotta go hit gotta do the next best thing called Stone Cold's gotta do the next best thing. Gotta take a nice big what. It's called break time.
Interesting. Oh, can we get
Hey,
some audio? Can we
Where
get
you
some
gotta go?
audio?
You
Can we
gotta
get
go.
some audio?
I heard that.
Can we get some audio on the? Oh, there we go. All right. Can you hear me, Max?
Can you hear me?
Can Max?
Good job.
Can Max? Can Max hear me?
Hey, Dream.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to give my Batman take.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Oh, Batman take. Interesting. All right, go on.
Best Batman, Adam West. Best Batman. Bullshit. He was the best.
I mean, I disagree.
That's okay. I'm pretty sure 95% will disagree, and that's okay with me.
I saw that bug on your nose there, Dream.
I know. You feel it? Like a spider crawled over my nose.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
I could talk to the Dream all day, but I do have things to attend to. Let me get to the great David T, who's next. Then Johnny Boy will close, and then we'll spin the raffle wheel of champions. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take out your phone and get it as close to your face as possible.
I got my eye on you. Checkmate me full screen. It's fireball whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
Oh, Jake.
Hey, David.
Hey, boy, I'll tell you, the Dream, he has all the makings of heading out to Hollywood and doing a badass action movie.
Can you hear me?
He's a presence, that's for sure.
He's going to go far in the tournament, I think.
Oh, my God, yes, yeah. And the Beast,
Good job.
I mean, you guys were talking about what position he. I can only see the Beast as an offensive lineman with pipes. He's got pipes that defensive people are going to bounce off of him. And the Jet point. The only thing Dom C and you and Dom C were discussing, bringing quarterbacks in, and he brought up maybe that Rattler or Tyler McKee, where there's an outside chance that could be a spark quarterback that could be with us for a long time.
Can you hear me?
So I'm not opposed to that idea. Hey, hi Max. Hey Max.
Good job.
Max, we want you to keep working out to get your pipes as big as Beast.
Can you hear me?
Then maybe you can get on the Jets and play lineman.
Good job.
But I think you got a little ways to go to get them as big as the Beast pipes.
Can you hear me?
And anyway, Jake, be safe when you go out to Indy and beware of blue.
David T, thank you for looking after me.
Good job.
Always.
Ladies and gentlemen, David T.
I got my eye on you, Jay. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
One last call before the raffle. Johnny Boy, what do you got for us?
Hey, what up, Jake? Hey, Jake, real quick, man. I know you're heading out to the combine. What position groups are you really looking forward towards? And then with Aguilar now coming into the mix of potential QBs, are you buying any stock into that? What's your thoughts on him as well?
I am most looking forward to seeing anyone who could be a Jet. So the edge rushers, Sonny Styles, the receivers for sure. I guess we'll see how Ty Simpson looks. So I kind of would start there. And then who was the player you asked about?
Aguilar, the Tennessee quarterback, Joey Aguilar.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him, to be honest with you. I mean, isn't he going back to school, I thought, or trying to?
No, he was trying to, but they denied it. So
I
he's actually
defer to
going to
Big Fella
throw
on
at
that.
he's going to throw at the combine.
So if he got denied, look, I mean, I don't think he's a day 2 pick, so he's probably one of those day 3 dart throws we'll discuss.
Bet. Yeah, man. Well, appreciate you, dude. It's very tough to try to talk about Jets after all the callers, bro, left and right. I was like, oh, this. I kept trying to like hold my thoughts, man, and they just kept going, bro.
Good job.
But hey,
You look good, by the way. I like the suit, or the tie at least.
yeah, I appreciate it. Now I headed to unfortunately headed to a funeral right now with my pops.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
But yeah, man. So, but hey, you made my drive go by like that quick, so appreciate that.
My man, Johnny, all the love, bro.
You too, man. Keep doing your thing, man.
Johnny Boy checking it out. I saw he had Boy Green and merch on his show last night, so check that out, Jet fans. Ralphie wants to know, will you eat St. Elmo's in Indy? I go every year. We're getting it out of the way. Monday, got a reservation for dinner, so doing St. Elmo's night 1. And then Harry and Izzy's is owned by St. Elmo's. I actually like that one a little better. It's right next door, same owner. So I'm sure we'll do that one of the nights for dinner as well. All right. I'm ready for the Wheel of Champions to be spun. I just don't know if Beast Breaker is able to send us to the raffle, so I might need either the Dream or Chuck Wagon to do it if Beast can't. Ladies and gentlemen, we will all find out together right now whether or not our man Beast Breaker is ready to send us to the raffle wheel to win a Jets jersey of someone's choosing. It's time. Beast? He dropped off the line. He's not here. Wow. Second straight day, Beast unable to fulfill his raffle responsibilities. Oh, no, he's back. He's here.
Fucking diarrhea, cha-cha-cha. And now it's time for the 2026 Wheel of Champion. Enjoy the day.
Are you okay, Beast? I'm worried about you.
Hey, like Mr. Jones once said from Friday, hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go. Or should I just do my impression of, get the F out of my face, Stanley! Oh, Lord, Stanley! Woo! 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 Oh, Lord!
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac Raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
The man might have shed himself trying to hustle back to the attic there. Global Studio headquarters. To be back in time to toss us to the Wheel of Champions. Well done, Beast. That's why you're a champion. A man's man. Ladies and gentlemen, announcement.
Can you hear me?
It's time for the raffle. Good luck to everyone who entered. If you win, email me your name and address, the player you want the jersey in, and the size, and we will send it to you. I'm going to give the wheel a spin shortly here. All right. Good luck to all. Oh, Lord. Here we go. The winner is. Hit it. Oh, baby. It's Andrew C. It's the dream. He's done it. Let's go. The dream. Yeah.
I won. I finally won. Yeah. Ooh. There. What I win?
You won a Jets jersey.
Yeah. Awesome.
Keyshawn, Mangold, Revis, Corbett, Curtis, Klecko, or Namath you pick.
I get to pick Corbett. Yeah.
Wayne Corbett. All right. Shoot me an email with your address and your size, and I will order the Wayne Corbett jersey for you.
All right. Oh my God! I fucking won the Wheel of Dreams.
The Wheel of Dreams. It's yours. You've done it.
Finally. Oh my goodness! All these super chats.
You won, baby. You've earned it.
Yeah. I won. How about this? Yeah. Also, I'd like to invite anybody Ask Maniac, Andrew Cole on PlayStation 5 Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, the dream.
All
Congratulations. The dream has done it.
JETS. Yes. All right, let's go.
Congrats to the dream. Thank you to Dom C for coming on the show. We will have live content from the Combine starting Monday. So be tuned in every day. I'm going to go live after Glenn and the Mood speak on Tuesday. So great content's coming your way. Thanks to the best fans in sports for continuing to tune in, even when there's not a whole lot going on. But next week, that all changes, and I'm looking forward to being out there. Please like the video before you go. Subscribe to the channel. Go Team USA tomorrow morning, and I'll talk to you guys soon. JETS, Jets.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets!